Welcome back. And it appears as though our screen did not completely destroy itself
Ow.
as I switched between one to the other. Thank you. Thank you. Oh,
Made it.
made it.
Nice.
It looks like the sound levels are rolling. I think we're okay. So, welcome once again to the world of Cairne. Chapter 2, The Butcher's Block.
We are back.
We are back. So we've been chatting. I apologize for the delay for anyone that's been waiting with bated breath. But we're here. We've been chatting and kind of going over this kind of a big start for the new chapter. Very quickly, I'll go over not necessarily a recap, but when we last left off, they made their way from the underground. They had fulfilled the somnambulist prophecy, and they escaped very close to a dire situation. And upon leaving the underground, discovered that they were now on the wanted persons of interest list of the Bachelorite Wraith Guard, the anti-magic enforcement squads, basically. Which, considering at the time you had Adets, a known arcanist, who is not shy about it either, and among other things under your belt at this point, not the least of which is a dead Wraith Guard member who had gone down there with you, you decided that it was probably best to bail, and bail you did. Along the way, you luckily had Drago, who was with you, also there to guide overland as you went through the backwoods and the Badlands, avoiding civilization, because not only is the Wraith Guard after you, but the League of Steam is looking for you, which is the Culvart Intelligence Agency. And they are the most powerful intelligence agency on the planet. They have a vast spy network. And, well, their eyes are everywhere, more or less. So, overland, you have been harried by creatures in the darkness. The undead, the blightborn, the void walkers have all harried you along the way. You've had many near misses. You've had injuries. Each of you has at least one new scar to show for the journey. And all of you without exception, dream troubled. You have seen death. You have seen death come back, and you have seen death come back again, all trying to bring you down with it. The spirits along the way have been troubled, and as you've gotten deeper and deeper into the Badlands, this, for most of you, has been a unique experience. Most of you have never seen this part of the world, with the exception of Adet, Drago, and Genesis. For Genesis, this is a bit more of a coming home. Although you've seen the other side a bit now, and you realize how close you are to pretty horrific things. But it doesn't bother you too much.
Yeah, certainly not a happy moment, but yeah.
You grow up here.
Nah, but backstory reasons.
That too.
Hey.
That too. So, after 2 months of being on this hard road, you guys finally kind of break through dusk of the evening, your final evening of travel, as you see before you the gates of the town of Abattoir, sitting in the fringe, nestled between the blighted lands, which are filled with dark roaming terrors and unimaginable horrors, and the Galdosha wastes, a vast desert of rotting wood and corpses and ruins where the elves once dwelled. Somewhere over the last week or so, Vanwarin up and vanished. Although it wasn't a terrible surprise, he's known to have been a little flighty, let's say. But you're not terribly worried. His home is literally right there. So you guys are approaching the gates of Abattoir. There are 5 very gnarly looking Ventrite guards standing out front. Each is carrying a ramshackle pole arm crafted entirely out of some type of metal and tipped with jagged bone.
Oh, nice.
They halt you as you approach.
Let me get in a quick stealth roll there.
Sure.
14. I'm moderately visible.
Moderately,
Can I try? Because it's going to determine what I do next.
if you'd like. Okay.
You're trying to hide behind me.
Did that work?
Yeah, well,
Not really, but kinda. It works about as well as I'm visible.
In your mind, you're both very hidden.
I just happen to be walking right behind him, and then I'm just gonna pop out and be like, "Hey, fellas, Steve, how are you?"
Listener isn't actively trying to hide himself. This is just his like current state of translucency.
So the 4 Ventrites halt your progress as you approach, and say very curtly, just state your business. What are you doing here?
I would say, hopefully, that we would have had a story prepared, that we're just, traveling, looking for work.
Yeah, what he said. Yeah,
Well, tell me your. I'll let you explain it to them. Let's say that.
Who would be the face here? Who would be up front? Wilhelm, maybe?
probably, yeah.
Or maybe actually Genesis. If you're local, you kind of know what's up with these guys. I don't know. You guys think about it. I know it's not listener.
I do have rustic hospitality, so I don't know if that would help me.
Oh, they're Ventrites like you.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I can kind of curve the background into something positive, even though my backstory probably, if they're related to me, would be a problem. Or if they know me, because I don't know. I'm trying to pretend I know them, but
Let's see. How do you want to do this?
Wilhelm?
I will take the lead. God help us.
All right, cool. I'll stand in the background and give you thumbs up.
Alrighty. We're just travelers on our way looking for work.
Fighting my depression. It's fine.
Looking for work, are you?
Yes.
You're looking.
I am.
You're looking for work in Abattoir.
Yes, I am of the Benevolence Guild. I am passing through.
Yeah, we got one.
Yes, I have come to speak to them. May we be allowed through?
Yeah, that accent you got there, it's real where are you from? Where are you from, boy?
I am a former Bacclarite.
Former Bacclarite. You hear that? Former.
Yes.
And you come to Abattoir with that.
They are my escorts. They are helping me.
Do they own you?
No one owns me, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on your state of mind. But they are helping me.
And yet you're the one speaking.
Listener raises his hand. He makes a gesture towards the one in front and reaches out with his mind.
Oh.
How does such a man react?
What are you trying to do? Let's see if we can play intent into it.
Listener's intent is to supplement Wilhelm's conversation. He just wants to open up that line to speak to him.
All right. All right. So he startles for a second, kind of looks around, and then all four of them kind of rear back and show you the pointy ends of their pole arms. What are you doing? I know that touch, and it was not welcome. Which one of you's doing it?
If he can see me, I'm still sitting at a solid 14. Listeners waving. I guess the waving's probably making him a little more visible.
Yeah.
I look at the one closest to us, and I'm like, weren't there 5 of you?
Did I say 5 at the beginning?
One of you just disappeared.
I'm sorry.
Straight yeeted out the story.
It's good. It's good.
He wasn't important. I got rid of him.
He rolled a
He's
natural
flanking
20 on
Kane
stealth.
pulled off the stage.
He rolled a 1 on purpose.
Nice.
So no, we'll stick with 4. 4 is fair. All right, so you're waving. The snarly one that's been talking sees you as you begin to kind of make yourself known. It's, oh, gods, one of these. Don't you have a greenhouse to be in somewhere? What?
What went wrong with you? Aren't we supposed to be the tolerant race? Where are you from?
Did you say that
You
out
put
loud?
the prickly ones on the door.
At this point, yes. I mean, everybody in my party's a problem. Everybody.
This is Abattoir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we ain't back in the
Oh.
camps.
Okay.
That's supposed to be the one-liner explanation where you ask someone how tough they are and they just say, I'm from Detroit. As if this is sufficient.
So, as the tension is mounting,
Yikes.
who is in the very back?
That would probably be Saoirse.
All right. I know. No, that's fine. Where is it? Yeah. There we go. Saoirse, you feel a soft hand on your shoulder, just real gently on your shoulder, as if just to say, I'm here, don't freak out.
Okay, I sort of glance behind me because I'm curious.
Okay. Bear with me. Here we go. This smiling mug is behind you. She smiles at you and says, "Oh, be a dear. I'll handle this." Kind of motions for you to step aside a little bit. Friendly.
I step aside then.
She begins to kind of wheedle her way through the party, gently kind of brushing against each of you and letting you know she's there, very politely, smiling, nodding. Is anyone inhibiting her progress?
I don't recognize her, do I?
She looks a little bit decayed, actually.
Alright. Take all kinds, I guess.
Question.
Yes.
I suppose. I've typically felt that listener, as a spiritualist, can kind of distinguish between the living and the dead when observing them.
Yes.
How does he perceive this person?
Slightly confused. Like you can see, like you can see, you can see, like a spirit flittering in and out of the body, like it's loosely tethered there, but still inhabiting it. This is a little weird. The hive mind is telling you, like, oh, they're like chattering away, like, oh, is this what we think it is? Could this be one of them? Oh.
Yeah.
They're very excited.
Listener begins ignoring the kind of prickly guard and has focused full on to this new person.
Is anyone inhibiting her progress?
No, she seems friendly enough and very helpful, so, you know, I'd let her pass.
Okay.
Saoirse feels incredibly comfortable around her for whatever reason.
Excellent, excellent. She steps up, looks the guards up and down, nods at each one of them and smiles, and looks at the prickly one and says, "Now, Frederick, is this any way to treat honored guests? They're with me. Can't you tell?" And Frederick immediately withdraws his spear and says, "Oh, ma'am, goodness, I'm so sorry. I meant no disrespect. Please, welcome to Abattoir." Motions you guys to come on in.
Ho, very nice.
All right.
She looks back and winks, kind of slowly, smiles at you, nods her head as if to say, "Follow me," and steps through the gate.
Well, why not?
I'm going. I'm following. I like this person.
All right.
Same.
So, she's walking very slow, not not listener slow, but casually. Lantern in one hand, lute in the other. She nods, smiles, winks, waves as she goes. She seems fairly well known, very well respected. Everybody smiles back at her, which is a little strange, as it appears that she is not really entirely among the living. But you feel no threat. In fact, there's a little bit of awe, even, that comes off of her, a natural awe. Does anyone want to speak with her, or just going to follow along?
I'm just going to follow along. Saoirse's still not entirely comfortable speaking.
Fair enough.
Yet.
Fair enough.
Listener would probably make a purely observational arcana check as he begins to dwell with the hive mind on the nature of this person's attachment to their body, it being somewhat unusual.
I'm gonna stroll alongside her and be like, "Hey, how are you?"
"Oh, I'm fine. How are you, dear?"
Depends on where we're going.
"Well, you and your friends look so incredibly tired. I was bringing you to an inn."
Glance back at Wilhelm. Thoughts?
I say go with it.
Alright.
She looks back at Wilhelm and says, "Her, dear. Her. I assure you, I'm all woman."
I was referring to the plan, but I apologize for the confusion.
She laughs. She's picking on you, obviously. No harm. No harm.
Gotcha.
She leads you on. Your Arcana check, listener.
Yes.
You are able to pull what she is. And to save time, I'll give you access to pretty much the full write-up that I have based on that. So, yeah, you'll know that she is definitely one of the Honor and Marv.
Interesting. This is going to form the sort of bedrock knowledge for one of listeners' lines of study into the nature of death.
Which I'm sure he's very fascinated about.
Indeed. It's his whole job. That's what he's been doing.
Spiritualist, I mean.
Oh, very much so. Well, she leads you through what is basically the main square, which is right off the main gate that you've come through. Looking around, you can tell at one point that this would have been a tremendous ruin. Some type of elven structure was here at some point that has long since fallen into complete disrepair and ruin. The people who settled here took the existing structure, and rather than repairing it, because it was well beyond normal man's capability to repair old elven structures, especially with no wood, instead of repairing it, they actually built into the ruin. So there are fallen buildings that have been actually repurposed into a new building where it lays, and scrap buildings that are pieced together off of bits and bobs so that they could scrounge together, and a few new rock structures held together with stucco and adobe and mortar and all kinds of things. But everywhere you see is this piecemeal architectural style. And in some ways it still manages to be strangely beautiful in its own right. Like the existing structure that the elves left behind is still like a sight to behold. You can tell at one time this would have been a breathtaking experience just to walk through these gates. Now, not quite so much, but still fascinating nonetheless. So your new friend, leads you through the main square past an enormous statue, kind of half chipped and worn with time, of what looks like it could have been some type of weird cross between a lion and a hound, maybe, sitting on top of a pedestal. It's hard to say. There's nothing any of you really recognize. Maybe it had some weird religious purpose some point. But on the far side of the square, she takes you in to, what appears to be an inn, built into a short section of a tower that had crumpled over onto its side. So the building itself is round like this, like a cylinder, and you're coming into the side of it. You see windows that have been punched into the rock itself with flaps of leather and burlap and whatnot, anything that could really be found covering them as drapes and shades. The door itself is patched together with bits of old rusted metal and creaks really uncomfortably loud as it opens. Hanging above the door, in lieu of a written sign, is a skull, humanoid, slightly elongated fangs, but smaller than a human, with a big black smile crudely painted across its teeth and cheeks. She leads you in, and inside is a peat fire burning in one corner of this main common room. A lot of ramshackle stools, chairs, and pillows and hides thrown about the floor. People sitting around and smoking some type of very fragrant substance out of various pipes and incense censers where they wafted across their noses. There's a iron bar, just like a bar, a flat bar at one end with somebody standing behind it, kind of scrubbing at it with a piece of cloth and looking at everyone suspiciously. Your friend says, "Have a seat anywhere. What can I get you? I'll get you guys something. You look hungry. You must be famished."
The listener tries to open up communication with our lovely new friend.
Okay.
I guess I'll just take a seat then.
All right.
I sit beside Genesis in an unusual form of bravery for Saoirse. She says, "I'll take a bite and something to drink, yes."
Excellent. Excellent.
I'm so proud of you.
If she accepts the mental connection, listener tries to say, have they water? It has been scarce.
You see her kind of gently brush her head and say, oh, love. I know you have a hard time with this, but you don't want to see what's in there, dear. Let's maybe relay those communications through one of your friends, if that's okay. No harm, no foul.
Listener, curious, but he makes a sort of accepting motion with his hand and tries to talk to Genesis.
Okay.
You hear the music playing again, or for the first time in my head. Just like as if my brain's been on hold waiting for you to be like, all right, cool, let's do this. And I just kind of turn around eerily. Like, hey, what are we doing?
What an odd one. Can you ask her if they have water?
All right, do you guys have water here?
No, I'm sure they do, dear. I'll make sure he gets some water. It's not a problem. And what of you, dear? My Bechtelite friend, I know you're not feeling terribly welcome here, but I assure you you're in good company. Are you hungry?
A drink would be a pleasure. Thank you.
Of course, of course. I'll be right back. Please be careful who you speak to, and don't stare too long at anyone. I'll be right back. She toddles off to the bar.
Listener begins staring at everybody, but they probably won't notice.
Yeah, the lack of eyes means you're pretty safe, generally.
Yeah.
So, listener, give me a perception check.
Absolutely.
Oh.
There you
go. There is a decomposing Oum in the corner of the room.
Notable. I poll the collective's memories for appendages that were in this area.
We are aware.
I query cause of death so that it might be avoided.
You are immediately made privy to a very violent end at the hand of about 5 drunken humanoids who literally ripped his insides out.
Ugh.
All of this appears to have been done on a bet.
I gotta go home.
Yeah, a drunken bet. They basically said, hey, I bet you can't kill this thing if you rip him inside out. The guy was like, oh, yeah, watch me. And then they all got in on it when they saw how fun it was. From their perspective.
Yes, of course, of
course. Since he's nearly invisible still, even in death, they were like, they actually probably thought it was funny to leave him there.
Is this link still open? Am I hearing this?
It's up to him.
No. The sort of hive mind communications are
deep web.
Like if I'm actively talking to you, there are a bunch of whispers in the background. Kind of hard to interpret.
That's the deep web of his internet.
Right, so that's separate. I'm not over there.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll
just go back to the
listener contemplates this. Feel free to do things while he does. It'll take him a minute.
Okay. Anybody else staring around the room?
I'm keeping my eyes to myself.
I'm always hiding my face, so I probably just kind of have my head buried in Genesis at this point.
Oh yeah, and just to reiterate too, all of you have heavy travelers' cloaks, masks, face mask. They could just be a scarf, or as long as it's not like a drastic, breathing apparatus or something. Any kind of mask will do. And if you want them, goggles as well. These are things you would have gotten on your journey, so keep that in mind. Excellent ways to keep your anonymity.
Yeah.
I would assume you came in wearing them just because of being out in the waste. It's not a fun place to breathe.
No.
Right.
So, Wilhelm, I'm sorry, you were saying something?
I was just going to say I've got my head down, fully cased in the cloak and everything.
All right, good. So it doesn't take her long to come traipsing back. Once again, it's almost like she knows everyone. She waves and smiles, and everybody's, really friendly and pleasant with her for some reason. Trotting along behind her is the man standing behind the bar with a platter of food and drink for everyone. He sets it down on the floor next to you. It says, this is all taken care of, and you've got 4 rooms upstairs. It's all we could spare. On behalf of the miss here, enjoy your stay. If you need something, good luck. He waddles off. So
if you need something, good luck.
He wanders off. She kind of clasping her hands, looks very content and very pleased to have been helpful, and smiles at each of you and says, well, dears, I've got a little work I need to do. You enjoy your food and your drink, and perhaps I'll run into you when I'm done, if you're still around. Yeah?
That was so generous. Thank you.
Of course, of course. And she winks at you and says, I'm always happy to help one of your kind, dear.
Eyes. Got them ghost eyes.
So
I am a little, flabbergasted at this because, I'm pretty well hidden. How the hell can she tell that I'm a Shadocasian?
There's more to this one than meets the eye.
Oh boy.
So with that, she nods at each of you, turns around, and walks up onto the stage, pulls out her lute, and then begins to play. Each of you give me a wisdom save, please, with the exception of Sorsha. All right. So, Genesis, you think it's a beautiful piece of music. Beautiful in the sense of, you're just kind of enraptured by it. Like when you hear a really good song, like I'm on the radio, just kind of into it, really enjoying it. Listener, you and the entire hive mind are just riveted. Yeah, this is stunning. You've never heard anything like this. None of you have.
Mm-hmm.
Wilhelm, you are lost. Absolutely lost in this. You have never, you are crying openly right now because of the sheer beauty of the song that you are hearing. And Sorsha, this is the song your mother used to sing you to sleep at night with. This is an ancient Shadocasian ballad.
Oh, dang.
The entire
Oh, dang.
the entire bar is silent as she plays. Completely silent. And that's pretty rare in a place like this. So she plays the song to completion. This beautiful, beautiful melody, and just nails it. And there's some otherworldly quality about her voice, something vibrant and yet otherworldly and unnatural that just adds this ethereal quality to the sound that you're hearing. And as she finishes the song and the entire place is silent, you look around and you just see like big burly barbarian looking dudes with tears streaming down their faces, and you know, certain people just sitting back with big smiles on their faces and clutching their drinks. And she sits down, says thank you very much, very softly, steps off the stage, winks at you guys, and then makes her way into the back and disappears through an open doorway. Pause for effect.
Saoirse says Saoirse is going to say silently under her breath, how in the world did she know that one? My mother used to sing me that song.
Interesting. Maybe she used to be, I don't know how these things work. Maybe she used to be a Shonakisian.
Mayhaps, but I must say I was rather taken aback.
I think the whole place was. Although it's probably based on the familiarity, you imagine it's not the first time she's played here.
Wonder why those guys are crying.
Wilhelm has tears going down his eyes and is just sitting there silent and unmoving.
He's like tipping his goggles and emptying them out.
Are you all right? I'm just looking around like, what? Like, all right, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm all right.
All is well. You understand. How could one not cry?
The hive mind is enthralled still. The chattering has not stopped.
I mean, my eyes.
The neurons are just kind of firing off randomly.
I don't understand.
Well, for the O in particular, you guys have not been around long enough to really develop an artistic culture too much. It's something you've dabbled in. But since you lack a real sense of true individuality, in the same sense the rest of the races do, every act of creativity is actually hampered by the fact it's a group activity. Generally, creativity is the experience of one person being brought to the surface through creative means. So when the O try to, it's basically the entire race saying, well, what about green there? Or maybe this note here, or maybe if we phrase this way. Because all of the individual experiences being utilized in a single mind suddenly become cloudy. So they don't really like to do it too much.
Indeed, as the internal philosophy of the Ogham is that we ourselves are the only art we're likely to produce.
Yes. However,
we grow into art.
However, when you see it presented to you in such a fashion,
we say, oh, maybe there's something to this.
So
it's like that one song that we had in chat that one time, which is way vague, but I hope you know what I mean. Like the one where thousands of people came together to create that one composed work.
Yeah.
With the blended faces.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Listener does appreciate it. In fact, I think his leaves grow slightly faster for a little while.
Oh, yes.
Just a little.
And as far as the platter that you guys are probably just starting to notice, there is actually a large tankard of, it's hardly spring water, but it's boiled, purified, and has been strained through something. There's no sediment in it at all. There's also cups of honey mead and a roast chicken and a fungus plate, some type of mushroom that's been cooked and battered.
Listener takes the water tankard. I'm almost certain I don't have a mouth, so it's just like
just kind of dip your fingers in.
I grab it exactly. I grab it over the rim and begin to osmose just peacefully.
It's kind of like Mork and Mindy. Yeah, he used to drink with his finger.
Yeah, that's not weird at all. I say watching the water level lower and lower.
Listener to you. It's very efficient.
Fair.
I'll say. I'm captivated for the few seconds this is happening. I'm just like, have you always had a mouth in your fingers? Like, what's happening right now?
Well,
That's
it's
so weird.
It's faster if I simply jump in the water, but this one's not large enough, and I'm in no rush.
Fair.
So, is anybody else partaking?
Oh yeah, I'm going to probably pick up some honey mead and start eating.
Right.
I have like maybe like a drumstick and some honey mead possibly, but I'm not eating as much as I'm like watching Saoirse. like I'm so proud of you. Oh my goodness. just like yes, the baby over here. Like
I love it.
So the meal is surprisingly not bad. It's a little bland, but clean. Genesis, especially for you, you're very aware how places like this, you really kind of got to watch what you eat and drink, because some places will actually just collect rainwater in a cistern and try to sell it to you, and that's really unhealthy. So whoever is doing this, they actually are filtering the water and boiling it down like it's supposed to be. The meal goes uneventfully. You do kind of feel very exposed, however you are still, kind of covered, hiding your faces, and you guys haven't made a big scene or anything. But yeah. What are you guys doing from here?
Good question.
Up to the rooms to talk.
Okay.
Out of the public eye.
That does seem like a really good idea.
All right.
We might have to gather in one room for that, just because we have 4 between all of us.
alright.
Which was very kind of her to get you 4 rooms.
It's quite impressive.
Yeah, actually. Oh my god.
Luxurious.
So you have rooms 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Ooh.
Out of how many?
About 16.
Okay, that's not bad.
As you reach the rooms, you realize that if this place had penthouse suites, you're in them.
Wow.
Yeah. Now that's being very kind. But these would, for the most part, the construction of these rooms is actually still a lot of the old intact Elven architecture, albeit on its side rather than upright as it was intended. But it's still pretty impressive, even if you're sleeping on the wall.
I mean, all things considered, like, if these are the nicest of the rooms in this, like, makeshift inn, this stranger that we just met is being, like, the most generous. Like, dang.
Out of nowhere. And kind of dead. A little weird. Still no sign of Drago and Adets, though. I know you kind of wonder a little bit. Probably can't help but wonder a little bit, like, where are they?
Yeah, I'm wondering.
So, which room are you guys meeting at, if you're all coming together?
Well, I suppose we haven't really picked rooms yet, so probably just whichever's closest.
Wilhelm.
Room 1.
Room 1?
perhaps.
Wilhelm's.
All right.
Wilhelm's.
I guess Wilhelm's room is room 1 then. All right, so...
Yeah, whatever one I was going to say, top of the stairs, but yeah.
All right, so you gather up in room 1. There isn't beds in these rooms, and this is more of a kind of how the world works thing. It's really more of a stuffed pallet on the floor, which is pretty common. There's either metal beds, bone beds, or pallets on the floor. Pallets on the floor are a lot more common. They're not terribly uncomfortable, depending on what they're packed with. These appear to be packed with something fairly comfortable. Nobody's really cutting them open, I assume, and checking.
Maybe it's best not to know.
Yeah. I'm sleeping on a dead person. No.
I think we could tell.
But yeah, you never know. You never know. Well, yeah, in this place they might actually move. So get off me. They beyond that, the rooms are there's damaged pieces of old elven artwork on the wall, and the cracked mirror kind of leaned up in a corner. There's a ceramic basin filled with water on the side of the room, and a piss pot. There's also a wardrobe, very ornately carved wooden wardrobe in the room. Very, very old. It looks like it's probably more for decoration than anything, but it still functions as far as the door opening and closing.
I'm only a little curious, so I kind of want to go peek and see if there's anything in the closet.
All right, you open the wardrobe up. It creaks and groans a little bit as the hinges rotate, but it opens up. Inside, you smell a sweet, pleasant odor that comes out off the wood itself. It's not one you're familiar with. Like not sure you've ever smelled cedar in your life, just because there's not really much of it around anymore. But it's very pleasant. Very
nice.
Very pleasant smell. There's a couple loose garments in there, like just traveler's cloaks, hung up on pegs in the back. But beyond that, it's empty.
All right. I'm not going to take anything out of it. At this, I'm just going to close the closet and return to the group. I was just curious.
Yeah, no worries.
Can I
Ornately carved wardrobe, like...
You were hoping to go to Narnia.
There's something interesting in there.
You're hoping to go to Narnia. It's okay.
Understandable. Can I use synesthesia in this room?
To what effect?
Just to kind of, like, starting with the smell of the cedar, which I've never smelled before, to sort of try to use that skill to see more of it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, as she opens the wardrobe, there's this faint violet hue that comes out in this spiraling texture, and then tendrils out and wafts into the room.
That's a poem all its own. Nice. I'm just vibing with the entire universe over here. That's what we're doing.
So far, Abattoir has been a very pleasant experience.
Hard outer shell, very accommodating.
So far. Here we go.
Well, maybe the worst is over.
I don't
Listener
count on
has
it.
suspicions otherwise.
Maybe. So, what did you guys want to discuss here in Wilhelm's room?
Next steps. Where do we go from here? I wouldn't call the Somnambulist prophecy really fulfilled. Like, we have the key. Like, do we need to do something with it?
That's true enough, but we have much smaller fish to fry, like staying alive and dodging an intelligence service.
Where do we go from here?
Listener to Wilhelm. As violent as they should have been, they've been surprisingly accommodating.
Yes, but I don't know if we can trust. I feel that those at the gate are more indicative of those we may encounter.
I
There's a good
expect
chance
it will
that-
not survive long, yes.
So perhaps we should figure out what we shall work towards, so we can move on from here as expediently as possible. Any thoughts? And I have we been having that conversation in my head? Because I assumed I was speaking out.
I always feel like when people respond to listener, unless they say otherwise, they're actually saying things so everybody can hear.
Okay.
That'd probably be.
Yeah,
I'm
I
going to set
definitely-
listener to work on like group calls. We're going to see if listener can figure out group calls. It's not something that's really come up much for the OM.
Conference.
That might take a little while though.
See if you can download Skype from the hive mind.
Technically, isn't all listener does group calls? It's just most of the other people aren't around him.
That's true, but we were born that way. We don't know how to do it.
He's trying to integrate Zoom into Skype. It's a weird compatibility issue.
Like, if we just opened up the hive mind to all of you, that would probably work, but we're not going to do that.
Oh, that'd probably drive all of you guys insane. It'd snap you.
Yeah.
And we're a little more paranoid than all that, so that's not the move.
Yeah.
Suddenly I know where every OM in existence is.
Is that what happened to the elves?
Oh, no. Listener pings back.
As Church writes.
Traveling here, though it has evaded the short and sneaky ones, we may be backed now into a corner. Traveling away may be just as fearsome.
Well, so as you're talking from outside, kind of faintly, you hear a voice kind of running past, slightly at a distance, just shouting, "Fire it up! Fire it up! Fire it up! Fire it up! Fire it up!" as he goes past.
Since the building's kind of on its side, is there even a way to see outside?
There is a window. You'd have to pull the flap of the hanging piece of leather that's covering it back, but yeah, you can look out.
Listener will get that. It'll be more suspicious and less revealing.
All right. You open up the window.
Yes.
Okay. You open up just in time to catch a guy running along the top of the wall with a torch in each hand. You can see he's the one shouting, "Fire it up!" And he's lighting these large braziers on top of the wall as he goes, just firing them up. They are already kind of smoldering. He's running by and smacking it with the torch, and it flares when he does. There's one every few feet along the top of the wall.
Listener closes the windows back. Asks Wilhelm, "They're afraid of the dark out here."
Genesis, you're very familiar with what's going on.
Yeah, they should be.
You're very familiar. Yeah. They, even your own camps, you ring settlements with fire at night to keep things away.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of that place we stayed, the inn, the first time with the stuff outside, only this is worse.
I'm sure we've had to deal with at least a small, like, taste of the dangers.
Oh,
what's
definitely.
to come.
Oh, yeah. Like I
Even
said,
getting here.
you all have at least one new scar from the journey.
Sensible fear. There's a great deal out there.
Especially out here.
Considering the dangers we face on the journey getting here, it's probably magnified here.
Mm-hmm. So, you guys, you don't really have a plan so much, but you have a place.
No, we're working our way. We're working our way there. To Genesis, I think. How precisely do people survive out this close to the edge of everything?
Suspicion and paranoia.
I thought more along the lines of water. And your kind requires dead things for sustenance, I believe. You all do, more or less.
Yes.
I must admit, they seem quite scarce.
You just have to know where to look and how to raise them. You know, chickens aren't that big a deal, you know? They can be little terrors sometimes, but you just have to know how to grow crops and till the soil and stuff like that. Yada yada. Agriculture, such and such. Irrigation. Don't get me started.
I have seen much of this irrigation. It seems a lovely idea. I like to think that actually he found a book on, like, agriculture in the scholar's library, and it was just his favorite.
Well, from your time studying the Ungamote people, you would have learned a good bit about agriculture. They do have the last Greenlands and a fairly expansive gardening system. Farms and everything.
That's what happens when you work with other races instead of shunning them and deciding that they're awful because of who they are.
Is this a shot at the Bacarites? Because we are kind of like that.
It's the hit dog that yelps, but alright.
I understand the flaws of my culture.
Wilhelm, I feel like that may be a bit more Genesis taking a dig at the guards at the gate.
Someone who understands me.
She's only your emotional support, Shauna Keesian, just as much as you are her emotional support Ventrite.
I wasn't already hugging you. I'm hugging you.
So,
Bring it in.
I
Bring
love
it
it.
in.
is Lister still by the window?
He is.
Okay.
He is.
All right. So, do me a favor. Give me a perception roll, if you would, please, sir.
Alright. There you are.
Okay. So you hear a conversation going on down below the window. It's faint, but loud enough that you can hear it from where you're standing. And you can tell, based especially on your roll, that this is one of those have you seen these people conversations.
Oh my. I listen in very closely.
It's literally like, we have some fugitives on the run that we believe are here in Abattoir. Have you seen these people? There's a slightly scarred woman, likes to hide her face a lot. There's a Ventrite, one of those weird mask-wearing ones. And, of course, they've been seen in the presence of this woman, known to have been manipulating and or taking possession of magical items. Kind of one of those conversations going on below the window.
Do they manage to mention an Ogham?
They do. They do.
Ah.
Big translucent.
Not invisible enough.
Big translucent SOB, I believe, is the way they phrase it.
Listener allows the window to close once more.
Are you looking out the window still?
I was looking out the window.
Okay. So in that case, if you were looking out the window, you'll actually see them. It's a contingent of about 5 Wraith Guard, each one carrying the large gun shield on his back and strapped with an arquebus, wearing full insignia and uniform, all human. They're actually talking to the nice, slightly dead lady that brought you in.
Ah, okay.
Since you are actually looking, their backs are to you. And as they get done questioning her, she looks up and actually makes quote-unquote eye contact with you. Smiles, winks, and looks back at them and says, I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you sure you're in the right place, love?
We are an unlikely sounding bunch, aren't we? The listener, lets the flap come back down. He gave a little wave as it did. Turns around. Still really got to work on that whole group call thing. Reaches out to Genesis, I think. I think it would be Genesis. And he asks, the walking undead, the very pleasant ones, I believe you refer to them as the Anrumarf. Are they the saints of your people exactly?
Well, if we're lucky, there are no saints. But
if not, they may qualify.
less of a revered position, more of an happy accident.
I like that.
Like when a cactus blooms, you're like, oh, I didn't know it could do that.
I love that. If we're lucky there are no saints thing, like, that was the most Ventrite thing to say, and I love it.
That was pretty perfect.
Our newest and dearest friend was just covering for us downstairs. The Wraith Guard must have been very close behind.
Need to come up with a plan fast to get out of here.
If she wields sufficient influence, perhaps it is best we stay exactly right here.
Stay within her good graces as well. I'm just like twitching and like adjusting the mask in front of my nose and mouth, like, alright. Yikes. Here we go.
Listener takes a moment to ping the other two and inform them of the Wraith Guard situation outside.
All right. It's a shame you couldn't have saved Sugnak and brought him over to the dark side.
Would have been good cover.
How do the Benevolence feel about the Wraith Guard?
Benevolence in all things generally, not in all cases, but generally, as a rule, are neutral third parties to everything. They have no defined racial or political affiliations whatsoever. Their job is strictly what their job is. Heal first, ask questions later. You've probably seen firsthand the damage the Wraith Guard can do. And while their general purpose isn't necessarily an evil one, you know, like the reasoning behind it, you know, you're looking at it where you are right now. Basically, you're trapped between two very big reasons for their existence. But at the same time, they have been known to be a bit overzealous and, in many cases, even abusive of the power they've been granted.
Oh, yes. I know how it's a Wilhelm. Of course. Otherwise,
My thoughts, and I'm speaking to the group.
Bye.
Obviously, I am a member of the Benevolent Society. There is one here. Perhaps I could speak to them for assistance. What are your thoughts on that?
If we're fugitives, then... Well, we are fugitives. I don't think we can really guarantee the help of the Benevolence. The other Benevolence, they may turn us in. I'm a little terrified of that possibility, but our friend, our new friend here, seems to have some sort of influence over the town and the area that is greater than we could even ever imagine, and is helping us, even though she just met us today. And I would like to think that she would be our best bet for survival and help out here. And if we need to speak to the other Benevolence, then I would think that we use her as a mediator between them and us.
Yeah, get the mayor to help us with the nerds.
Listener chimes in. If your people will provide coin and cover, then these are things we would be in desperate need of. Do you trust them with this?
I don't know. That is the thing. I am one of them, and we know of the Wraith Guard, obviously. We are both institutions. I feel like it would depend on the person, whether or not they would assist us. My concern is also, we have certain objects. I don't know if Wraith Guard can sense those objects we're carrying.
Listener contemplates this. He checks his pockets. He says,
Normally, I would never suggest either of us going away from the group for any extended period of time. But I feel like it would be almost better for you to approach them as a standalone entity without them knowing about the rest of us existing here in this place. That way, if you're captured, you can tell us. We can come rescue you and not have all these magical items fall into the hands of the Wraith Guard to be destroyed.
Perhaps it is best to observe this local benevolent before reaching out.
Right. Maybe you could go with the mayor. I guess. I have no idea what her name is.
I'm so
And
personally
when-
rather fond of the idea of just having her be our mouthpiece than risk any one of us showing our faces around here, considering we're known wanted fugitives.
Fair.
I still support this plan. It's stronger to be a part of something large.
Agreed.
Right.
Might I suggest we take our break so I can fix some tea?
That's okay by
I'm in
me.
favor of that.
I could use another cut myself. So yeah, we will be right back. Boom. Let's see, nothing got messed up. Okay, we're good. Welcome back. All right. So we were conniving in the hotel room. Had recently discovered that the Wraith Guard is in town actively looking for you. Once again, your nameless guardian angel of the less than living persuasion has stepped in to assist you, apparently.
Mhm.
But the threat is suddenly a little more real, I think.
What? Let's go home.
So, are you guys wanting to go ahead and rest for the evening? Since you have these fancy rooms? I'll try and refrain from
Listener.
I'll try to refrain from sending brain slugs under the door.
I think
That would be very
resting would be
kind.
the best idea.
In fact, if brain slug technology had just been lost in the blight, that would be great.
Well, I mean, it was either lost in the blight or they horribly mutated into something worse.
Like, they can be 2 foot taller and it'd be better, actually.
Blight aberration brain slugs. I cannot. No.
Mm-mm.
But
Nope.
we should probably try to speak once more to the lady before we go to sleep.
Well,
Catch her before she runs off on us.
she's already down the street. She was outside speaking with them and took off away from the place when she left. You can try to catch up with her. That's okay, but
No, listener's not fast.
yeah.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
Here I go.
No.
Listener at a dead sprint couldn't outrun a ghost.
Wish you could sleep.
Hmm.
I
Alright.
I agree rest is needed, though perhaps some sort of watch would not be inappropriate.
Well, one of you doesn't need to sleep.
Exactly. Listener says to you, I will observe in the corridor and down in the bar. Although if you hear a loud noise, like a brawl or an explosion, please do come check.
Explosion. Or don't. Run the other way, whatever. It's cool.
How far can you talk to someone?
We have experimented with this very little.
we did actually...
Amongst ourselves...
We did actually come up with that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We figured that it was... I think we pegged it to... a mile because I had the same range on some other skill.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, so that should be fine then.
Oh. In that
So
case,
listener says, much, much further than this appendage will travel.
if you get in trouble, screaming in someone's head might be a good way of waking them to alert us of danger.
Fair. It's all right, Master Miss.
And I shall recall.
All right. So, resting it is. Listener on the prowl.
Yeah. I figure he'll do his best impression of the wall out in the hallway.
And
down in a place where people are unlikely to walk right into him.
And how long will everyone be sleeping? Going for a full 8 or?
I think full 8.
All right. Full 8. Very nice. Yes. Very nice. Okay. That's some good rolls there. It's a shame we weren't in combat.
They're your rolls, so I'm glad we weren't.
All right, so you're in the hall, you said, listener?
Yeah. I would probably spend most of the time in the hall and occasionally go down to observe the status of the bar area.
All right. So during that first hour, let's say you're in the hall for the first hour, unless you say otherwise.
I would be.
Over the course of that first hour, a humanoid man comes up the stairs into the hallway where the rooms are. That's more than just your room, so this isn't necessarily alarming right off the bat. He stops at the door, swaying a little bit, rifling through his belongings. Looks like he's looking for his key or something. And he's patting his pockets, he's looking around. And then suddenly he locks eyes with you and out of nowhere deftly hurls something at you and hits you square in the chest and then bolts the other direction, runs down the stairs.
Oh, shit. Now that's what a 20 gets you.
Where he struck you, of course, initially you kind of look down expecting damage. Instead, there is a large head-sized stain of bright red on your chest, and it's not going away.
Listener is quite smart. And after, let's say one attempt will be made with something besides his hands to remove the red stain. Say he goes back into the room and grabs some cloth off the bag or whatever and makes an attempt at it.
It smears a little, but beyond that, it's only getting worse by rubbing on it.
I take a special care not to spread it around further, because step 2 is to carve that portion of my flesh off.
Fair enough.
I feel like we've been here before.
The hive mind is asking you to wait. They want to assess. They want to assess what this is before you remove
listener
it.
Pings them. He says, "Query. My visibility is much, much worse now.
Are you in immediate danger?
I consider this a hostile act."
If you are not in immediate danger, then this could potentially be a threat that threatens us all. We need to assess it further and see the extent of what it can do or has done.
Listener considers. Valid.
Take a moment to assess before removal.
Indeed. So listener contacts Wilhelm, since Wilhelm was aware that he would probably be doing this. You feel a gentle nudge at your brain.
Does that wake me?
Yeah.
Okay. Then, yeah, I wake up.
All right.
Yes?
Friend, I have been likely assaulted, but I must evaluate the damage. There is not currently a guard. I must assess this. I do not believe you're under immediate threat, but it is possible.
Okay. Would you like to come here? I can check you out.
Further observation may help, indeed. So listener just kind of, opens the door, takes a peek outside, not extruding his now red torso out there.
Take a perception check if you're looking around.
I am indeed. It's not bad.
You see the same guy hiding at the end of the hallway watching you.
You cut out there, Church, at the important bit.
I said you see the guy that tagged you at the end of the hall attempting to hide but watching you.
I open up the line to Wilhelm again. My assailant remains outside.
Is he
Mental hum.
by our room, or is he down?
I send him the sort of layout of the hall and the position of the dude.
Okay.
Is he visibly armed?
Well, he's wearing a long cloak and, the masks and hoods and everything, so it's hard to say. He's not carrying anything openly in his hand at the moment.
Is he between me and listener?
No, he's at the far end of the hall.
So far end.
So, like, if Lister's in room 4 and Wilhelm's in 1, the guy is way past Listener's room, all the way at the far end of the hall.
Okay, so I am going to get dressed, and I'm going to step out of the room.
All right, you step out of the room. It's slightly dark.
I would actually like to do a thing.
Okay.
Since I have it now, I would like to use the sight on my assailant down at the end of the hall.
All right. We're pulling out the
So
sight.
Yes. We never determined how we're going to roll for the effect of the sight.
Let's see.
We know what it does, but not how I impose it on people.
As far as his saving throw and whatnot?
Yeah.
All right. Let me see here. I'm just pulling up my notes. Bear with me.
Go ahead.
All right. You know what? We're gonna make it just like a standard saving throw to resist.
Okay.
Because it's basically you're trying to open his mind up to see what you're seeing, so to speak.
All right. Would he be like versus my spell save DC and my core stat?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that puts him at a 16 then.
Cool.
Nope.
Look at that. So from the end of the hall, you immediately begin to hear someone screaming in terror. Like,
yes.
What is this?
Which
oh my God, they're everywhere. oh my god, what? And you hear him just running down the stairs, tripping and fumbling as he goes. Since
That's more than I expected. I was going to stare at the wall so he couldn't see anything.
Yeah, no, I rolled a 1. So.
Oh, he just freaked the hell out.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, yeah, everyone.
He started seeing through too many Ogham eyes.
Yes, he just saw a world populated by the dead. In his mind, at least. So, everyone is awake now. In fact, a few extra
Listener
people are
watched him
popping
go.
out of the other doors. Going, what the hell was that?
Listener watched him go. He connects back to Wilhelm. I believe the coast is clear.
Alright, I would like to approach listener and get a good look at the stain.
Alright. Alright.
I believe we'll probably pool our resources on that, because listener's going to bring the Ogham perspective. We got Wilhelm with the benevolent perspective.
Alright, so an assist, then.
Yes.
Alright. So, give me a... well, what do you want to use, Wilhelm? How do you want to approach this? Do you want to look at it as a natural substance, or as a doctor, or what?
Trying to identify the item. See if it's like a paint or... yeah, see, first I want to see if I can identify what it is. So I don't know if that be medicine or...
Let's
investigation.
Let's start by using just your basic herbalist ability. Give me a roll for herbalism there.
So nature.
Yeah, we'll see if it's a natural substance.
Okay. Let me double check on herbalism. Botany, there we go. Okay, doesn't have any impact on that. So, just a straight nature roll. Now, he's supposed to be assisting me, so
I am assisting.
yeah.
Yeah, at advantage. Get another roll.
27.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot better.
All right. He's been hit with some type of fungal concoction, from what you can tell. It's a very good roll. You can tell that if an organic creature such as yourself were to touch it bare-fingered, it would definitely have a severe psychotropic effect on you. As far as how it's going to affect his physiology, you're not entirely sure, though I'll give you a chance to determine it. If you would like to try.
I would like to determine that.
Okay.
All right. Listener continues to consult, offering information that we may have on the effects of fungus on such creatures.
But what we'll do is we'll make this basic, we'll do another nature roll, but I'll let you use your etiology benefit. So you can actually add an additional medicine roll should you roll poorly on the nature one.
Okay.
We can do these both at advantage if he's assisting. So you got a pretty good shot.
Of course. Listener is not only individually concerned, but, the collective needs info.
27 again, and I doubt it. But let's see what the medicine is. So yeah, 27.
Okay.
Very nice.
This is actually leaching the moisture out of his body very quickly. If left...
You cut way out for that. You made it to leaching the moisture.
Oh, wow. It's leaching the moisture out of your body, dehydrating it in a very, very bad way. If it is not dealt with and removed, it's already starting to be absorbed into the pulp of your body. And it is sealing off pores as it goes. So yeah, it needs to be scraped off, cut off very soon, and you have the full go-ahead.
Well, Also, you said it's a fungal. I have one of my antifungals prepared.
Well, there you go.
I would like.
I tell you what. Now, because of the nature of the antifungal that you make, what you can do is debride the surface or help him carve it off, and then use the antifungal to ensure that it is all removed. So there won't be. Normally, if you just cut it off, I'd have to make a check to see if it would come back. With the
He's a plant
antifungal.
person, so just cutting off part of his body not gonna be that big of a deal.
Yeah, it'll
just
still
like
hurt.
Oh, of course, but this is first aid as far as we're concerned. You got a little blight on that, just cut it off. It'll come back.
Yeah. All right. So, do you want him to do it, or do you want to do it?
He has a very steady hand with the knife, so listener will request. If you care to assist, I must remove this portion here. I don't need it. It's more harm than good.
Okay. I'd be happy to. My hands are yours to use.
I leave him to it. I stretch it out in the correct directions. Normally not something you get out of a patient, but it's like, plants. We do shit.
Alright.
Making that into a t-shirt. Alright. I assume medicine roll?
Yeah, that'll work.
Alright. 22.
Alright. You remove the area. We're gonna... Give me a d4 roll for damage. Just because that is actually a pretty good roll.
Does he qualify from the empathetic attunement? Because that would make it a 24 if it matters.
Yeah, he does qualify, but in this, as far as the damage, I've already given you
Okay.
a bonus, considering you're carving off a chunk of him. So three points of damage, and
That's pretty fair.
and then the antifungal, based upon your assessment, Wilhelm, will need to be applied over the next 4 days.
Okay. I would like to also use one of my salves in addition to it and wrap the wound to make sure that nothing else gets in it.
No problem. I'll even give you that one. So that's fair. You managed to remove the substance, the area affected, and then apply the curative to make sure it doesn't spread or come back. But aside from the averting the physical duress that he was kind of under, I guess there is the more real and present danger of somebody knows you're here.
Oh, definitely.
The rest of you are awake after the screaming, by the way. I don't know what you're going to do with that, but...
Well, now that we've done this, let's go in the room now that I performed surgery in the hallway.
Hey,
I would say we were in the room. Like, I would have gone back in the room.
I can hear them, and I've been in Wilhelm's room before.
Yeah.
So can I just bleary-eyed and blinking the sleep out of my face just use remote viewing to see what's going on?
Yeah.
What? Blink, blink.
I'll say you come in just in time to see him carve a chunk off of listener's chest.
And listener just kind of got his hands spread over the chunk to make it correct for carving. It's just like,
Oh no.
they appear to be in an animated discussion of its properties.
He's just standing there. What?
What about you, SpongeBob? We just wanted to...
Listener notices you come in. He connects up to you and says, good evening, friend. I've been assaulted.
Oh, well, you're not aware that she's viewing you, though.
Yeah, I'm just staring at you like.
Oh, that's right, remote view.
Yeah, she's actually still in the other room watching.
Hey.
Ah, yes.
I'm in bed still.
That's a good trick.
Oh, God.
What?
She's
That's so weird.
I'm going to need wood.
I used 2 fingers to zoom in on the injury. Like,
Let's get all this wood first.
what's going on?
It's bright red and kind of crinkly.
This is going to turn into Minority Report really quick.
Oh, that looks so gross. No, 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 no. No. I'm actually gonna have to get out of bed for this one. That's disgusting. So I just plod down the hall, bumping into the wall a little bit because I'm still remote viewing. Oh, wait. Cut that off. All right.
I'll put that on TiVo for later.
Now I can see.
Your show will probably go back to bed, honestly.
There you go.
Just a little screaming, it's fine.
So you're used to it at this point.
As I walk past your door, I'm like, I got you, sweetie. Go back to bed.
All right. So Genesis barges in.
At this point, we're both like,
What?
Listener is poking at the scrap of his own flesh with a stick, and Wilhelm's probably trying to patch me up.
I've attached a rubber glove to the end of the stick, so you're not even touching it with a just use
With a
protection.
proper stick. Yes, this is very important. Listeners, like, he's communicating with you and the hive mind simultaneously, going like, if we press carefully across from the surface to the surface, we can actually determine the rate of spread of the fungus.
Getting a full detailed report.
Yes, we can see it's remarkably rapid.
Was
Yeah,
quick thinking.
clinical attitude. Why are you still so close to this? You're inherently porous. What are you doing?
To Genesis. The world is very dangerous, but it requires observation nonetheless.
The hive mind approves.
Also, I would like a sample of that to see if I can come up with a potential chemical to disable it, so for future use, we don't have to carve a piece out of your chest in case we encounter it again.
Smart. Counter agent.
Feel free, take as much as you like, although it would be unwise for you to touch it as well, I believe.
Well, it depends what you're looking for, but
Yes, I am familiar with the properties, but someone tried to weaponize this.
I would say to burn the rest, but I'm not really sure how well that would work. Perhaps not.
I would just like to... We're talking about like a fist-sized chunk, right?
Pretty good one.
How long can I hold on to this piece before it starts breaking down? I'm talking to listener to see if he knows basically his rate of decomposition.
Oh, very slow. Very slow indeed. The evidence is just downstairs, quite frankly. My people last, even when, the appendage no longer functions as it should.
I don't think anyone else saw the dead one.
Well, it's hard to spot unless you know what you're looking for. Yes, my people last, although it seems someone around here has taken some care to study us as we study them.
Well, I would like to take the piece, secure it in a package while wearing gloves and sterilizing my hands so that there is no contact. And then I am going to package it up safely.
Okay, so you're packaging it up. Genesis is kind of watching, slightly horrified and disgusted. Listener is just curious.
He's in rapid communications with the hive mind at this point.
Sorsha, roll a D20 for me, if you would, please.
Oh boy.
Okay. One more of these.
Toys.
Okay. You three, give me a perception roll, please.
Mm.
Cool.
Question.
Oh.
On one with the 27s.
Wow.
I swear.
I mean, I was gonna ask if the sight of the wound triggered an unintended episode of synesthesia,
Oh,
because that would be a disadvantage.
no,
But
you're
then that would
okay.
also be advantage on perception rolls.
Yeah, you're okay on this one, because it's not the type of wound you're used to looking at.
Okay.
This is more like shaving
Alright.
kernels off a corn
Yeah,
cob.
this is a small hole in some bark that you can see the heartwood through.
Yeah.
It's weird, but not that disturbing.
Alright. No, not a 1. Hey!
22. All right. Actually, all three of you hear a loud thud, like an alarming, like, what was that? It just catches you all from one of the rooms next door, and a little squeal immediately after it.
No, that's not yellow.
We had best all reconvene and head next door.
So, you guys are coming out of the room?
No, no candy.
Yes.
Barreling out, yes. Like,
You sure? I
I didn't
mean,
know I could move.
I know you guys are really engrossed in what you're doing. You don't have to.
There's more important things, you know?
You come barreling out of the room just in time to catch two heavily cloaked, masked figures wearing goggles. One carrying Sorsha by her legs, the other by her arms. He is holding a thick piece of cloth over her mouth and nose, and she appears to be unconscious. They look up shocked as you come barreling out of the room and immediately start beelining to run down away from you with her in tow.
Chocolate.
Oh, you can't run from this.
Oh, let's hit him with all the abilities at once.
So
yeah.
we'll
You
get
can't.
a quick initiative roll just so we can get some timing. Go 1, 2. Okay. Oh wow, you guys are in luck.
We spooked him.
You did a little bit, so that's fair.
And they caught the wrath of Genesis.
Oh,
This will not be pleasant.
she may have.
And Wilhelm is standing there with 2 large gloves, a full smock, and holding a knife because he just performed surgery.
That's intimidating. Not gonna lie.
Oh.
Master miss.
Yeah, they really caught the wrath of Genesis.
Dennis
She may have.
is motivated.
Please tell me you can see that, because I don't want to have to reroll.
Oh no,
because I don't have a token.
that's a 21. You're good.
Okay.
All right, so Genesis, you are definitely up first.
Okay. Telekinetic Attack, D6 plus proficiency bonus.
So tell me what you're doing
Line
with
of
this.
sight. I am. Okay, the one with his hands around her arms
Mhm.
has a cloth over her face. Is she limp?
Yeah, she's limp.
We gonna. Oh,
Okay, so she's already out. I want to. Are they going downstairs?
Not yet. No, they haven't reached the stairs yet.
Can I target the floor under them?
You want to try and rip the floor up?
Yep. So they fall through it.
Well, it's
That sounds very risky.
it's stone.
Nah.
I mean, it's not impossible, but yeah, I mean, considering this is a toppled tower already, like, may not want to damage the internal structure too much, just because it could bring potentially the entire thing down.
Okay. then my strategy, since she's already unconscious, is going to be to target the Achilles heels of the guy holding her feet.
All right. Are you just going to apply pressure, or you want to sling something at him?
I want to sever the veins in his ankles.
Whoa. So you're going specific.
Oh shit!
I want him to physically feel the blood spurting out of his legs to the ground as he struggles to stand and fails, falling forward onto his face and having to catch himself with his hands, which will soon be gone as well.
Well, she mad. All right. So this is very specific. You're targeting a specific part of the anatomy.
I could just cut his ankles off. I'm not
Yeah.
discerning.
The
That's
most
the
called
goal,
of called
but,
shots.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not impossible. Not impossible. Let's see here. This is going to be interesting. All right. So you're making your telekinetic attack.
Mhm.
All right. Let's make that roll.
Okay, that does
Watch
have a
this be
save.
like a nat 20. It would be so glorious.
Oh, I hope don't say it because it won't be. Oh my goodness.
Remember your feet.
Yeah, we're gonna have to lean heavily on lucky this time.
Do it.
A d6 plus 3, so this plus 3.
That's a good number.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Perfect damage.
All right. All right. So
Save versus charisma plus. Is that a thing?
what's that?
The paragraph that talks about the telekinetic attack
Mhm.
says that the target is allowed to save versus the charisma plus proficiency.
Yeah.
But as long as the character retains focus, the target must keep this up.
Yeah, he'll get one save.
Okay.
What is that number? That golden number I'm looking for.
Charisma is 14 plus 3 is a 17. Oh,
Dang.
wow.
Rip.
Well, if I'm allowed to continue focusing on it,
Well, here's the thing. Because of your specificity, I want you to contest my roll. I'm going to give you a chance to contest my roll because you're not just trying to lift something. You're trying to cinch off organic matter in a specific part of his body. So,
in what way, with what roll?
roll a d20.
It all comes down
The force of your rage.
Mhm.
Let's see that nat 20.
So this is your
Take my energy.
flex your Akira.
luck
Nope.
point.
All right.
Please. Oh, that.
Nope.
All
Got
right.
too
I have
mad.
a
Lost
headache now.
focus.
So it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to damage him in the way you were hoping, but it is enough to stop him. He's resisting and he's kind of pulling away from you, but you stopped him for a second. And since he was in the lead, you stopped them both. So it wasn't a complete
Using all
loss.
my movement to get over there.
All right.
Like,
Charging up on him.
definitely.
All right.
We don't have bonus actions in this game, do we?
Yeah, of course.
Bonus actions exist.
Bonus action to not really use a skill, but just kind of, you can't see my face below my nose, but you can tell like that I'm baring my teeth,
All right.
and I'm doing as much as I can to get like the Morning Star that I have in my pack out.
All right. All right. Yeah.
Anything that I can use, like just rip them a new one.
Okay. So you're charging down on him, growling and frothing beneath your mask and ripping a Morning Star out.
She hella mad. I love this.
All right. No, that definitely works. All right. In that case, Wilhelm.
I am going to try to just move up to them.
All right.
Charging, and if I can get close enough, I'm going for a grapple.
Make your roll.
All right. I don't actually know how to grapple
Roll,
in this.
roll to hit. Strength base.
Yep, you make a strength-based attack, and they have to resist it with strength rather than AC.
And do I get my proficiency?
Do you have a proficiency for grapple?
All non-lethal.
Well, no, I'll let it go.
Clever. Clever.
It's all into you.
It works.
Y'all like wrestling? The doctor's in.
Yeah, so that's +5, so it'd be an 11.
11.
I mean, technically, like, medical peeps do have to wrangle, like,
Oh, yeah.
problematic patients. Logic work.
Front or back, Wilhelm? Which one did you go for?
One towards the back.
All right. You run up, still holding your knife, but not brandishing it. You run up and just kind of hurl yourself at him and catch him in a bear hug and bring him down onto his knees with you kind of grappling him on his back, holding him in place. He lets go of Sorcia's feet, which clatter harmlessly on the ground, leaving the one at the head to further struggle with trying to maintain his grip on her and trying to pull away from Genesis's invisible grip. All right, so you've got him held. All right. So that brings us to the guy at the head. All right. He has very little choice at this point, I'm afraid. He reaches behind him and pulls a dagger out and holds it to her throat and says, "Stay back, or this one gets it." And he is holding his action.
As one does.
Listener, you're up.
How far away are they? Can I make them at my normal speed, or would I have to dash?
Thanks to Genesis, you could get up there.
You thinking?
Oh, that didn't come through. I said thanks to Genesis.
No,
you
I
could
must
get up
cut
there.
out.
Yeah, you can get up there.
Okay. Let's first see how my stealth is looking. Probably not as good. That's appropriate, actually, because I've got a huge old patch on my chest.
This is true.
So I was kind of hoping that number would turn up small. That's not an action, though. I wasn't actively stealthing. That's just translucency.
Fair.
You said they had goggles on.
Yes, they do.
I would probably be familiar with the mechanism of my own spore cloud. Does it have to reach the eyes, or is it an inhaled thing that interferes with sight?
It would need to reach the eyes to be truly effective.
Okay. I will first reach out to his mind, rather forcefully.
Okay.
And to him, leave her and run. You're dreadfully outnumbered.
Alright. He looks kind of shaken a bit. You can tell he's baring his teeth under his mask. He kind of tightens his grip on her and pulls her up close to him.
More forcefully, and this time I'll make a proper check for it, I think.
Alright.
You have no chance of victory. You have slim chance of living. Run.
Not a bad roll. but not quite enough in this case. You can tell he's afraid, but he's standing his ground.
The first attempt has been made. It's fine. Listener has his position. He's quite visible. Doesn't have much else to do yet, and I will say that that intimidation attempt was probably an action. So I will pass the turn here and stand ready to behave when it comes around to me again.
Alright. Still not able to resist Wilhelm's grapple, the last guy, and that brings us back around to Genesis.
Oh no, it's so fuck now that I put my phone on. I just fall on my bus. You fall on the bus? No.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me?
Drawing upon my abilities of empathy, I would like to use persuasion to overwhelm the guy that is still clutching precious sweetie with the emotions that I draw from the good memories of my childhood.
Don't worry. Let's fix doctors.
Trying to make him at ease.
Alright, Sanders.
I want him to feel like every ounce of hope, of life, and joy of existence has
Can you
been
take it, doctor?
sapped from his soul.
Oh, you're pulling out. Okay.
I want him to feel like he's surrounded by people and none of them will help him.
So you're going for despair.
I'm going for next level, bottom of the basement, despair.
All right.
Very nice.
Despair and hopelessness. They won't help you. Do you understand? They won't. They won't help you. And not that they can't, they won't.
Nice.
Damn.
Feel it. Feel it in your incapacitated and helpless soul. Feel it.
All right. Well, let's see that advantaged roll.
Of persuasion.
Take that advantage.
And luck
Jesus.
point, please. Because I'm failing. Help me. Just say I'm lucky. Yikes. Not another one. Come on. Oh.
That was perception.
That was perception, yeah.
It's still,
But it still made an 8.
I love that it increased by 1 to account for the loss of 1 point of bonus.
Oh.
You can only roll 8s.
things are working together. Mine was 27, yours are 8. You'll break it after this, though.
Can I please? Can I roll the right thing?
Yes, of course you can.
Oh,
Thank you so
no.
much. Must be much
Goodness,
better
I had advantage and I just didn't switch it on the sheet 'cause I'm lazy. Oh my goodness.
You still could have come out with double 8s because if you recall, a listener had advantage toggled and rolled double 1s. that way.
Double 14s right here.
Yeah.
Look at this.
It's the night of doubles.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's a sign I
Saturn.
should start throwing mimics.
We're
and
getting the
doppelgangers.
RNG stuck.
Thank you.
Just do another one. I want to see it.
I'm
Come
going-
on, give me another.
I'm going home. I'm going home. I gotta go home.
If you do this a fifth time, we're sending an error report.
Do it. Come on, bring it. Bring it. I need this.
I'm going
I
home.
need this.
I gotta go home. I gotta go. They're all gonna die because I'm rolling 8s, alright?
Straight 8s.
There. That's better.
It's not gonna affect anything at this point. Let's just try it. Another 8. Oh,
Ah, there it is.
of
Holy
course.
shit.
Okay, so that was
No, that's just mean.
the advantage. The first roll and the advantage roll.
Mm.
First luck point, second luck point,
Okay.
and then finally,
All right.
because I just got off
5
Not including.
successive rolls of 8.
Yeah, well, even the 24 at least is You know, technically it's 8s as well.
RNG machine broke.
All right.
Yeah, no.
So
I gotta go home.
the 24 hits him pretty hard. Let's see if I roll an 8. Oh, goodness.
Of course. Of course.
Damn.
Wow.
He's powerful.
So he's like, you just see like the tears welling up in his eyes, and he's starting to tremble and shake and look around. The knife loosens just slightly, and you see his jawline kind of quivering beneath the mask. He's starting to look really desperate, but you hit him. You did hit him. He's just not incapacitated.
How far away from me is he?
He's basically one slightly bent Sorsha length away.
Oh dear. Looks like all these are all.
Oh dear, indeed.
So he's close enough for me to use my movement to get close enough to take action to separate the two of them.
You could try. Just keep in mind, he does still have a knife at her
Got
throat.
it.
And he did say stay back.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh,
I don't actually even need to be close for this.
this one.
I'm gonna stand right here.
All right.
Just
I'm
waiting.
All right. Just waiting.
You seep in that despair. You feel that.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Mhm. It's about to get worse.
All right. So, are you? Is that it for you?
What am I allowed to do?
For a bonus action?
That was an attack. Bonus action would be something light.
Don't worry, I'll just run. Oh dear.
Can I take the dagger from his hands? No, then he might drop her and run.
Yeah. Plus, trying to grab the dagger would count as an action.
Yeah.
You
Got
can
it.
flip him off. You can hurl an insult at him.
We saved the bear. Thank you so much for goodbye.
I want to say anything that I can say to make this worse for him.
He's gonna keep hurling insults.
Just make it worse. I want him to stay right there because the next turn. Ooh,
All right. Well, he's visibly shook. You hit him pretty hard. All right. So, Wilhelm, do you want to keep your grapple?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to hold it.
Let's get that
Pause.
strength roll.
7.
I didn't
That is a whip. That will not have
Well,
the
it's-
same modifier on it as a strength.
I didn't roll for the incapacitation.
It's the +5.
I rolled for his save, Master Miss, on the incapacitate. Is that?
So not the D4 rounds?
Yeah, no. That's what he saved against, was the incapacitation.
Okay.
Yeah, you still hit him. You just didn't go unconscious. No, you're good.
And on it, yeah, I clipped the whip.
Oh, gee.
+5, but dang, it didn't really matter.
So,
Nope.
yeah, you're squeezing the mess out of him, and he's trying to struggle, and he just twisted the wrong way, and you heard his shoulder pop out of socket. And he kind of winced and yelped with pain for a second there.
I wince as well.
Yeah. You'll have advantage on your next attempt if you choose to keep him pinned.
Yeah, I'm not doing any damage to him. Nothing, just holding him.
No, he did that to himself, so you're good. All right.
Very nice.
Very nice. So that gives us Genesis's new best friend. He's, like I said, he's shook visibly. He looks at Genesis, kind of recoils a bit. He looks at Wilhelm after that loud pop came from his buddy. He's kind of looking at Listener, not really sure what to make of him. And he drops Sorsha, still holding his knife out, and shouts, Sinophe will hear about this. And it bolts.
Okay, Mom. Oh, hi. I'm Fingers. What do we
He bolts.
next?
He's gone. He is out.
Yeah, he takes a dash action and reaches the stairs. You see him go around the corner. You can take off after him on your turn if you want, Master Mess. We're still in initiative because there's still a combatant on the floor.
They go like this. They go like this.
But that'll bring us to... No worries. That'll bring us to Listener.
Well, obviously, hit him with a sight.
All right.
Oh, no.
All right.
It's even more effective when he's taken off at a dead sprint.
So, yeah.
Oh, no.
Do you don't have to have line of sight on him, do you?
No, just that telepathic connection will do.
Okay.
He does have to make the spell save DC 16.
Yeah. No.
He don't.
All right. Do you hear him kind of yelp and immediately take a tumble?
Yeah.
All right.
To Genesis. I'll be right back. And Listener starts, trundling his way to haul the dude back up the stairs.
All right. Well, of course. Wilhelm, the guy kind of goes slack, and you hear him say, I give up. Just let me go, though. This is excruciating. Let me go.
We got it.
I let him go.
You let him go?
Yeah.
All right. With his good arm, he immediately reaches up to his belt, grabs a knife, and slashes his own throat.
Whose throat did he slash?
His own.
Oh.
I'll give you a very slim chance to stop him if you'd like to try.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
I'll give you a chance to show me your 20s.
Yes.
You want Dex to see if I can react quickly enough?
Oh yeah, sure, we'll go Dex. It's gonna be a pretty high DC, but
okay. Not proficient with Dex.
still got a chance.
We do. Here, just rolling this will do.
And your rolls have been kind of on point. Well.
Nope.
Not that time.
Not that time.
No. Yeah, he drags the blade across his throat and immediately begins to spew blood out. Gurgling away on the floor.
We got all these flowers.
I am going to put
So cute.
pressure on it to hold the blood in, and I'm going to start to perform.
All right. You know what? You are the benevolent. Wait till we get around to your turn, and we'll go from there.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
We can put
I'm going to start doing with the trauma that I just used, because this seems like an advanced wound.
Yeah, well, it's definitely an advanced wound.
So yes.
All right. So, let's see. Just coming back around. Master Mess, you are up, even though you're not smiling. going after the runner? Okay. The little weasel. All right. You'll have no problem getting past Listener because he's a little slower than you are.
Yeah, I am that fast.
And grabbing him, he's pretty much in a prone position, bruised and battered, halfway down the stairs. What are you going to do when you reach him? Anger ball. He gonna die. All right. How's he gonna die? More psychic damage. Uh-oh.
I'm trying to save the one upstairs as you're trying to kill the one best downstairs.
All right. All right, Anger Ball. Let's see what you got. She big mad is right.
Oh, okay. Let's make it a mess. Let's get in and clean up. Clean up. Clean. Taking all the toys away.
All right.
Put away in it. Can't stop the fun.
We're going for the telekinetic attack again, I take it.
Clean up a PJ. Let's pull a PJ. This ain't emergency. This ain't a PJ. Clean up the Lisa. Find it. PJ.
Okay, so you're just squeezing the life out of the guy at this point. All right. He's a prone target. He's already dazed, already had his jimmies rustled by the empathic attack. You are basically squeezing the life out of him at this point. He has a few rounds, obviously, it takes a little bit to suffocate him, although I imagine you're trying to crush his trachea in the process. So it won't be happening instantly, but it's happening.
Listener gets down there probably before he dies.
Yeah, you'll get down there. This is your turn.
Okay. Technically, Listener doesn't really need him alive to interrogate him.
You gonna try and break into his head?
I got some abilities along this line.
Oh yeah. He's already pretty shook too.
Listener does say to Genesis, it may help to have one alive and one dead.
How about this one?
Not even listening.
Suit yourself.
That sounds.
Suit yourself. Listener stands by to haul the corpse upstairs.
All right. Are you still trying to break into his head?
I wasn't going to try to break into his head. That was if he was going to be alive for very long. It may take too long to wrestle around in there for anything useful. He's just going to do speak with the dead once he is dead and hauled someplace secure.
All right. Well, he is definitely on his way there as we speak. So.
Okay.
All right. So it'd probably be about maybe 3 rounds till his trachea pops and he drowns in his own blood. Altogether.
I wonder if we can we move this upstairs while you're killing him? It's just,
It's probably not the first time someone's died on the staircase, to be honest.
No. I mean, this may even be an average night, quite frankly.
Well, nobody else has come running, if that tells you anything.
One of these.
Um,
Alright.
We just went full.
If I can get Genesis to shift him upstairs while this is going on, I try. But otherwise, I mean, it's not that long of a wait.
Yeah, I don't think she's listening. Not at this point.
I mean, like, maybe if I just grab his legs and start moving, she would follow along while choking him.
Just like a look at the flowers. No, she's gone full murder hobo on this one.
I mean, that's where we are. It's not even an unreasonable response.
They came after the wrong member of the party, apparently.
Yes. All right. So he'll wait this one out.
She's very mad.
Listeners got time.
All right. So, give me your medicine assessment. We'll get this out of the way real quick, Wilhelm.
Okay.
Let's see if you can save this guy.
17.
All right. The carotid has been nicked, as well the ligatures on either side of the neck. He actually did a really deep cut. It was a very sharp blade. He is arterially spraying at the moment.
Alrighty. I am going to, holding my hand, which is gloved, I'm going to put pressure on the wound without compressing either the windpipe or, obviously there are the two arteries. I'm trying to only get the one that I need to stop the bleeding.
All right. So
I don't want to press both of them, and I don't want to try to crush his windpipe. While doing that, I'm going to start wrapping his neck to create the proper amount of pressure and holding the blood in.
All right. So what?
We're working somewhat at cross purposes here, but I feel like it's very on brand.
Very. Give me your first aid. At advantage, of course, as usual. Medicine at advantage.
Now,
this will be for the bandaging. To staunch the flow of blood, basically, that you're trying to do.
Yes.
And then after that, you're going to need to do a very delicate stitch on the nick.
Can I use my empathetic attunement, or is he too far gone?
Well, this is a tricky one because he wants to be gone. Already. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
I'll give you a chance. Just to be fair. That's
okay.
That's pretty good. You got it compressed. The wound. You have the wound compressed. You can attempt to stitch if you'd like. Now this is going to be a straight first aid roll with no advantage because of it's very delicate. You're trying to stitch a tiny nick in a carotid artery, so there's tremendous pressure going to be on the stitch when you let go.
Okay. I am used to doing very tiny things. I am skilled in that.
15?
No, I haven't rolled yet.
Oh, I thought you did.
That was me asking before you told me to stitch and stuff.
Okay, yeah. Alright. 10?
10.
Plus 2 for your empathetic attunement. 12?
12. Yeah.
Okay. You have managed to stitch the wound. You have staunched the flow of blood. It's going to be a little touch and go for the guy, and if you want to keep him alive, you're going to have to really maintain him, but for now, he's as stable as he can be on a hallway floor.
Okay.
You are covered from head to toe in blood, though. So the people who are currently looking out of their doorways down the hall at you are like, well, isn't this a Friday night Fear Factory? I'm going to go back to bed. Genesis, you hear the distinctive pop as the man's trachea snaps beneath your grip.
Just lost interest, and now listener has to just haul the dude up. Fine.
Oh, yeah. I hope you at least brushed your trousers off as you stood up.
Daddy, but it's bedtime. I want to watch. It's 12 right now. Late.
Got a little schmutz. Nice. All right. So we just saw the dark side of Genesis.
Yes, of course.
All right. So are you guys going to stay in the hallway or?
No, I'm hauling back up.
Okay. You bringing the body with you?
Yep, that's the goal.
Okay. So, everybody going back to Wilhelm's room again? That seems to be the common room.
I need to get this gentleman taken care of, which means I am probably going to see if someone will assist me, and crap, I can't take him outside. I am going to move him to my room so that I can continue checking on him until I can get outside with him to take him to the House of the Benevolence.
All right. Sorsha, you're starting to come around. Your head's pounding. You're a little disoriented.
I was about to say, y'all, Search is laying unconscious out in the hallway.
Yeah, you're starting to come around. You're disoriented. Your head's pounding. You're seeing like this looks like a massacre happened in the hallway all around you. Wilhelm's covered in head to toe in blood. He's dragging a body off. Listener's dragging a body up the stairs. Genesis is walking in, kind of wiping herself off. It's for some reason you're laying in the hallway on your back.
I'm just so like disoriented at this point. Like I'm just like, what happened here?
So,
Listener, you hear listener thumping up the stairs, dragging a body.
so Genesis is trying to help you up. She's trying to guide you to her room.
Yeah, I'm going to hang on Genesis and use her for support.
All right. Come here, sweetie.
I want my stuff out of my room if I can, like, because I don't want my shit stolen.
That's fair.
But yeah.
That's fair. Well, I think Genesis has plans to help you, and yeah, she'll help you. So you guys are gathering your stuff and moving you into her room with her, and I think she wants to try and assist you reorienting.
Yeah.
So the two of you who dragged the near dead man into Wilhelm's room, bless the sweetie. Do me a favor, in the heat of things, as you're kind of removing the mask and the goggles and everything, so you can assess this and clean the situation that you're dealing with, Wilhelm.
Mm-hmm.
You notice the man has a very heavily scarred face, like slight disfigurement, like dark, rich black hair, and if it weren't for the scarring, he'd be remarkably handsome.
If it weren't for the scarring, he'd be what now?
Remarkably handsome.
Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Ah.
Interesting.
He also has a large tattoo on his chest. of a burning crow.
Okay. Do I know what that means, that tattoo?
I want to see.
Give me a low DC history roll.
Go fit.
They're fairly well
Okay.
known.
You probably do.
And I mean, I am...
Oh yeah.
It's mine. Go fit.
Yeah, you
He reads
recognize
the paper.
Mine.
he's obviously affiliated with the Burnt Crows.
I am also very familiar with Shanakijans.
Yes. Oh yes. And suddenly you're probably making the connection of Sinufe will hear about this.
Indeed.
Sinufe being the leader of the Burnt Crows.
Are the burnt crows? That's not that's the like goddess of the halflings. to be
Yep,
fair.
that's the healer goddess.
Oh,
Yeah.
did I say the wrong name?
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
Sinufe.
My
That ain't
apologies.
my goddess.
My apologies. Hang on, I will get the name correct. No.
You were real close. Signai.
Oh, Sinai. Sinai.
And Sinai.
Sinai.
There you go.
Sinai will hear about this. Sorry.
Is listener there with me?
Yeah,
Like, are
listeners
you
there
with
with
me?
Oh yeah, I'd be hauling the other dude in.
Sinai.
Alright.
Ooh.
I think it's a very good thing that I was able to save this gentleman.
Listener looks down. He looks back at you in your mind. I don't believe there's much we can do with this one.
Seriously,
I'll
we have a
handle
few
this one.
questions. What the hell do the burnt crows want with me? Number one, whenever she hears about this.
How do you plan on dealing with that one?
Oh, I'll just ask him a few things.
Oh, okay. I'm like, you want to speak to him personally. You don't plan on dealing with the body. Okay.
If you just leave it here long enough, it'll decompose. It'll be fine.
Yes, and it could be used, I guess, to fertilize you. I
Well,
don't think
not
we have
me,
that time,
but
though.
you could have a lovely tree.
Really? Do you not? And then this leads into an offshoot conversation about, I think, biology and fertilization and everything between Wilhelm and listener.
Oh yeah, we get easily distracted by this while he's trying to keep a dude alive and while I'm preparing to speak to a dead one.
We don't need to go in that
I'm just over
conversation.
there, like, I'm working on and I'm getting him propped up so the corpse can speak. And I go, actually, the ohm absorb an incredible amount of phosphorus when we're young. We're rather stationary in that stage.
Could the two of you give me another perception roll, please?
Sure.
All right. So the two of you notice that he's woken up. He's trying to not let you know he's awake, and you see his hands start slowly moving up to the stitching that you've made. Because he's not
He's gonna
restrained.
tear it out.
He's not restrained
No,
or
we're gonna
tied
stop
down
that.
or anything.
We're stopping that.
You know, hold him down. All right. I'll let you stop it. Those were both very successful perception rolls. You caught him in time.
Did we keep Sugnak's manacles?
Genesis actually did. I believe.
Listener pops next door.
I don't know if you know this or not, though. I just know that she did.
Well, if Wilhelm doesn't have them, he'll go next door to ask.
Yeah, Wilhelm doesn't have them, but I might have something else I want to look into.
All right. So,
I'm going to dose him with a psychotropic. I am going to make it so he cannot try to do what he's doing.
all right.
That might work.
You can dose him up.
I am. I'm using one of my doses to give him a euphoric high, which I assume means he won't be trying to rip his stitches out.
He takes it. He's You can see it start his effect. His pupils dilate wildly. He actually gets kind of calm.
It is supposed to calm those that are insane.
He looks at you and says, I do this for fun.
You might need another. I bet the red stuff is a touch stronger. But, you know, that gets you an overdose right there. I go next door for the manacles. They might be a little more reliable.
All right. Let's see if Genesis will relinquish them.
Oh, the big post. Here comes that big post. Oh no, this is her. Alright. Listener pops in the room and tries to attract your attention, Genesis.
Yeah, I think I'm alright, but I don't know what happened.
Genesis is so distracted.
It's fine. I'll just check for them. So listener digs around for a moment.
No.
The living one doesn't want to be. And it'd be better to keep him that way for a little. Like I said, only one, probably not for long. And he really doesn't want to stay that way. But we do need that one. Listener doesn't really detect the bloodthirst. He's just kind of casually explaining the plan. He says, the dead, they're just not very talkative. They don't last long at all. The living, so much more inclined to talk. Do I find the manacles? Oh, thank you.
Daddy, can only tell. Daddy, can only tell anymore.
Once we have restrained this one, all of us should probably be in one room. That might be for the best.
Good idea.
Donk. Right back next door.
Are Genesis and Sorsha coming over to the room so they're all one
They can do as they like.
safe location together? Since you've already had 2 attacks on you tonight.
I mean, I'm with Genesis, so.
So good idea. Okay. All right. So you guys move over into Wilhelm's room. Follow listener over. Why don't the 2 of you give me perception rolls as you enter the room, please?
Oh, this will be interesting.
Good.
Ooh, pretty good.
Good roll. Genesis, you kind of notice, but don't really make the full connection. It's just, oh, that's weird. Sorsha, immediately you notice this is a Shawneesian, and you recognize the burnt crow's tattoo, like, instantly.
Saoirse is going to go, like, wide-eyed at this, mouth agape, and say, what? He's one of my own? He's a Shawneesian as well? Oh, what happened?
Not
We're kind
sure.
of rare out in society. What What the hell are other Shawneekijans doing here?
He's staring at you, Sorsha. His pupils are like just black. Like his whole eye are black because his pupils are so dilated. And he just kind of grins and like motions at his mouth and is like, actually, does the universal sign for I can't speak and points at the slash across his throat.
He was talking earlier. He said the
He's
drugs were
just
not
kind of a
effective.
dick. Either that or the psychotropics are kicking in and he's started to lose those speech centers. Anyways,
He starts
let's
making-
manacle him up. Some mystical hand gestures. Somewhat restricted by manacles.
Yeah, he can only go that far apart.
But I would suggest we should call it there.
Yeah.
That's good. No, that's a good spot.
Yes,
that's
because this
definitely-
is probably going to get complicated now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is about to get real fun, and it is 12:30, and I get to wake up early to go on a road trip tomorrow.
Oh, right on. Well, I do have to say that I was really hoping by the time we hit this point it would be a terrific mess, and it is.
Made it.
I lulled you in with a friendly face. Oh, it's beautiful. Anyway, for those of you watching or who do watch in the future, thank you for joining us. We will be back in 2 weeks with the next part of this.
Farewell, dear friends.
Farewell.
Good night, everyone. Next week is the Halloween episode of Stapleton Investigative Services.
Yes, it is. We'll be returning to Sigil for a spectacular, spooky episode.
Sigil Confidential. It will never not be Stapleton to me.
It's all good. Because it is still Stapleton at heart.
Of course.
Good night, my dear friends. Good night.
Good
fact-
night, everyone.
Stapleton can even come back from the dead for one episode alone.
Oh, stranger things have happened.